and expression in verbal fashion, whereas the right uses parallel circuits. It helps faster processing, which is essential for visual spatial processing, gestalt reasoning, and determining the context or big picture. The neurotransmitters are also different in the left brain and the right brain. Left brain has more acetylcholine and dopamine, and the right brain has more norepinephrine, which is involved with arousal response and fears. It is related to nightmares, anxiety, dreams, and crisis telepathy. So the right brain is involved in dreams and telepathy. There are three major levels of CNS function. One is at the spinal cord level. Many of the requests are at the spinal cord level. We have the subcortical level. The organs are medulla, pons, hypothalamus, cerebellum, basal ganglia, etc., which control the BP, feeding reflex, balance, planning, etc. And the limbic system is also at the subcortical level. It controls the emotional behavior and motivational drive. So we have two different entities called the limbic system and the cortex. In the cortex we have sensory areas and motor areas. And cerebrum is involved with higher brain functions. It processes sensory information, initiates motor function, and integrates information. We have association cortices, which integrate information from sensory cortex. For all the sensory cortex, visual cortex, auditory cortex, etc., we have the association cortexes. Thinking takes up most of our conscious awareness. This is an important slide. Thinking takes up most of the conscious awareness, and our conscious thoughts are primarily in the form of language, which is a left hemisphere function. Our conscious thoughts are primarily in the form of language, which is a left hemisphere function. The development of the left brain is very recent. At birth, both brains are equally dominant. When we start learning the language and the rules of language, the left hemisphere starts dominating. So the logical left brain, as a result of the development of the logical left brain, it inhibits the emotional right brain and limbic system. The development of the left brain inhibits emotional right brain and limbic system, and this enables us to think before acting. As a development of the left brain, we are better behaved, we keep our hedonistic impulses in check, it enables us to have a poker face and rationalizes away fears. And because of the inhibition by left brain, we are better behaved, not overwhelmed, tuned to others. But the disadvantage is that because of this inhibition, less information enters our consciousness. The number of neurons present in the brain is approximately 100 billion, which is about 15 times the total human population on Earth. Messages, transmission of signals pass between the neurons through long branches called axon. The nervous system receives billions of information through our senses and process in the brain. It is said that the human brain can process 400 billion points of data every second. And the response may be an immediate reaction, or the information may be stored as a memory. 90% of the sensory information is discarded as irrelevant and unimportant and relegated to subconscious. Examples are touch of the coats. We don't feel the feeling of the coats now. The pressure during sitting, many of the sights and sounds that reach our brain, we are not conscious about. And the best example is, you are not seeing your nose now as though it is in front of both your eyes. You are not seeing your nose unless you look for it. because we are not, our brain has a system by which it will ignore it. Important sensory informations are integrated to produce a response. Suppose you put your finger into a hot object, you immediately withdraw it. These are reflex actions. What is thinking? Thinking involves simultaneous electrical signals in cerebral cortex, thalamus and limbic system, and reticular formation of the brain. While you think, there is an electrical activity, specific electrical activity inside the neuron. Dreams are successions of images, ideas, emotions, and sensations that occur usually involuntarily in the mind during certain stages of sleep. Dreams have led to many discoveries. Example, the benzene ring. Kukle discovered the benzene's molecular ring structure after a dream. Previously, it was thought to have a linear structure. And the periodic table was also seen in a dream by Mendeleev. Scan has shown that in dream sleep, sleep can be divided into dreaming sleep and non-dream sleep. In dream sleep, the sensory cortices and limbic system are more active and the association cortices are less active or quiet. The sensory cortices provide sound, sight, and smell to our dreams, and the limbic system reflects emotions like what we desire, worry about, or struggling to understand, etc. So, in dream, the sensory cortex and the limbic system are more active. The analytical mind no longer dominates in dreams. So there is no logical analysis, and we can dream anything like elephants flying, persons with 3 eyes, etc. The abandonment of rules helps dreamers to solve problems. There is something similar in autism and dreaming mind. Autistic savants have brain activity that shares characteristics with the dreaming. In dreaming, our brain is just like that of the autistic brain. Our autistic brain is similar to our brain as in dreaming. Some have more access while awake to certain areas of consciousness, and autistics have heightened perception as in dreams. Autistics will have heightened perception as in dreams rather than through analytical challenge. Poor communication and social skills and order repetitive behaviors suggest a left hemisphere dysfunction in autism. As a result of left brain dysfunction, there is enhanced right brain function by which they can think in pictures, and double granule is a good example. The right brain and visual cortexes are more active. In dreaming and autism, there is a shift in dominance from left brain to right brain. There is a shift in dominance from left brain to right brain in dreaming and autism. The sensory cortex and the limbic system are more active in autism and dreaming. The increased activity in the limbic system results in intuitive, creative, more active right brain, and it also inherits analytical, linear, and logical left brain. So there is intellect versus intuition, and Albert Einstein says that the intuitive mind is more sacred and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Because even in scientists, the intuition is more important than intellect. There is a condition called synesthesia. whereby the sensory information is combined by the brain in unique ways, and people can sense it differently, thus allowing people to hear colors. People can hear colors, taste sounds, or always see letters and numbers in bright color. Daniel Tamil is an autistic servant. He is in US now, and he is here. He has numbers. He sees us in colors, shapes, textures, and personalities. For example, one is drawn to him for its brightness, two is like a movement, etc. 13 is a baby number, 169 is like a waterfall, and 338 is like a waterfall that curls and loops. So when they hear numbers, they have a visual imagery, so that the calculation is very easy for them. The mechanism of synesthesia, the sensory pathways from eyes, ears, tongue, etc. These pathways are, when they go to the sensory cortex, these pathways are very close to one another at the area in the brain called angular gyrus, and there is cross-talk between the different pathways at the angular gyrus. This has been proved by Dr. V.S. Ramachandran. There is cross-talk between different pathways at angular gyrus. What is consciousness? The brain divides information into conscious and which is not. The broad classification is conscious and unconscious. Again, the unconscious can be subdivided into subconscious mind, unconscious mind, and collective unconscious. So the consciousness can be divided into consciousness, subconsciousness, unconsciousness, and collective unconsciousness. And the conscious mind is only 10%. The conscious mind is only 10%. And the conscious mind is mainly concerned with the left brain, whereas the unconsciousness is mainly of the right brain quality. Consciousness is a state of cerebral activity in which a person is aware of self and environment and is able to respond internal or external changes. The right brain functions are mainly unconscious. Others are internal experiences, imagination, symbolism, fantasy, and sense of unity are other right brain functions. There are multiple levels of processing at the brain. When we look at an object, our brains make trillions of calculations in milliseconds about the color, depth, distance, etc. before we see at the visual cortex. This processing is done at subcortical level unconsciously. The information reaches the subconscious or subcortical level first and get processed and sent to the cortical level. And the cortical level we call the conscious mind. The cortical level we call the conscious mind. Our unconscious brain perceives events before they reach our conscious awareness. In blind sight, where there is a damage to the visual cortex, the blind can still distinguish crosses from circles, horizontal lines from vertical lines, and they can overcome the small obstacles in front of them even though they are visually blind. Which means that at subcortical level there is something happening. In flow, our unconscious receives information and acts before it reaches higher level. Example, return of service in tennis, and during driving also we unconsciously control many things during driving. In flow and meditation there is a shift in activity to subcortical centers. What is unconscious? Everything that is not conscious is called unconscious, and it forms major component of the mind. It determines our behavior. It contains past, present information that are irrelevant and things that we don't want to face or admit ourselves. Dreams are windows to unconscious and shows that it contains information beyond what is personal. Out of information reaching the unconscious, less than 1% reach the consciousness. And because of the filtering mechanism, the other information are not sent to cortex. Autistics are sensitive to changes in the environment and they do not filter out the details because of expectations. And by shifting the dominance from left to right and from cortex to subcortical brain, we can access more information as psychics and autistics do. In autistic, there is a shift from left to right brain and from cortex to subcortical level. Consciousness, what is it? Is an energy, matter, force or field. There are evidences to link consciousness to the brain, but we have reasons to believe that consciousness extends beyond our bodies. It's a form of energy or type of field. Consciousness is a form of energy or type of field. And if it's a form of energy, the electromagnetic waves energy that is recorded as EEG expands beyond our brains and the field extends beyond our physical field. The electrical activity that is recorded as EEG, it is spreads beyond, it goes beyond our body, physical body. Data from near-death experience and outer-body experiences raises the possibility that consciousness can exist independently of the body and travel to other locations.
This for me.
According to superstring theory, strings are subatomic units of everything, including genes, and strings are vibrating. Universe is vibrating and dynamic, and vibration creates interconnectivity because of physical phenomenon called resonance. And there is resonance between living beings and non-living beings.
Doctor, I'm sorry to interrupt you. See, most of us here, will not be able to relate to some of the terms here. So if you can talk to us, because presentation we can always.
I have got the last warning. Only 5 minutes are left for me.
Sure.
Question time.
I mean,
If anybody,
There is a question answer time of 10 minutes more.
Yeah.
So then you can ask all your doubts and clear all your doubts.
yeah,
very fast, I know. I have talked to previously to the organizers, but they have restricted my time.
No, sir, the point is not. The point is that, when you look at the slides,
I know.
We can have eye to eye with you and then learn from you. It will be much more useful for us.
yeah. For resonance, the medium is the 0-point field, which is like a vacuum with no resistance or friction about the, but with a tremendous energy. EEGs can synchronize with each other despite being in separate rooms. EEGs of two persons in separate rooms can get synchronized. And synchrony is easier between identical twins and lost when disconnected. Synchrony is also seen between people with emotional bond between mother and child and others. It's called limbic resonance. And it is a capacity for sharing deep emotional states arising from the limbic system. Telepathy is the ability to feel from a distance and involves communication from one mind to another without a visual, tactile or auditory means. It is also called transference. 60% of the 65% of the telepathy occurs in dreams. Telepathic dreams are seen as crisis telepathy, farewell dreams, and shared dreams where the lovers dream mutually for years together. 30% of the twins have telepathic interconnection. We have DNA. Human beings have DNA almost same as other animals and plants. The earthworm has 90% of the DNA as we have. 50% of the plants have 50% of the DNA as humans have. Or we have similar site as plants and animals and bacteria. And it's a layer of consciousness that connects us with others. Out-of-body experience shows that brain is not the generator of consciousness but a filter. Consciousness can travel away from the body during dreams, out-of-body experience and death. In out-of-body experience, one's conscious awareness is shifted to a place where one can see things from a different or location. The brain mechanism in OBE and near-death experience is activation of the limbic system. Activation of the limbic system by strong, painful emotions can produce OBE. Angular gyrus is also associated with the OBE. Strong stimulation or heightened activity in the right angular gyrus produce out-of-body experience. We have occasional dreams of flying as in OBE. Dreams and OBEs are heightened activity in the right angular gyrus. In near-death experience also the angular gyrus is involved. There is a gland in brain called the pineal gland which secretes DMT. It causes vividness of dreams. It produces OBEs by acting on limbic system. It breaks brain's filter mechanism and enables our conscious awareness to have greater access to information in our holographic conscious field, and it makes that less frightening. We have collective unconscious, verbally monarchs, and the text fly in a particular fashion. We have the consciousness, we have the personal unconscious which are separate for A and B. Commonly, there is a commonly shared collective unconsciousness. There is a commonly shared collective unconsciousness. And it's a set of shared ideologies that binds people together. We have the personal conscious at the top. We have the personal unconscious and we have the collective unconscious. And monarchs resonate and tap into collective unconscious. We can access information from the collective unconscious. That is what the autistic people are doing. They are collecting information from the collective unconscious. Even though they have not learned the language from any of the teaching institutions, they are collecting information from the collective unconscious. There is a dynamic interplay between our inner psychological world and external physical worlds. The whole universe is a holographic, and our body is a living hologram. Our fertilized ovum divided at a tremendous speed. How do cells know when to stop the division? Or who to specialize into nervous system or to endocrine system or heart? How do these cells know? Each cell has the same genetic information about our whole body. The shared genetics among our sense enables them to be in resonance with each other. Our body is a living hologram and our cells have information about the whole body. Time and precognition, it is believed that time passes. In actual fact, it stays where it is. So, physics supports the idea of timelessness, or that the present and future coexist. Time is not a universal constant. Time is something that our clocks measure. And there is no independent clocks outside the universe that exists as a gold standard for the passage of time. Time is not separate from space. Stephen Hawking says that we can theoretically move through time in either direction at varying speeds. This is what the autistics are doing. The autistics are traveling through time and they can foresee things that will happen later. In short, the future already exists. It is for us that there is present, past and future. The future already exists. That's what physics says. And the autistics can have the precognitive information. That is what is going to happen in the future. We all have precognitive dreams, but we forget our dreams thinking that they are irrelevant. And people will have only partial glimpse of the precognition because it is most adaptive. Suppose we would have known how we are going to die. We won't sit like this here now. So our dreams, many of the precognitive dreams, we forget immediately after waking up. That's a brain mechanism. And with this, I conclude.
I know that
You have not
followed many of the points that I have
already elaborated. What I suggest
is that what
I have.
prepared about 500 slides like this.
If some of you are interested in knowing the details, I am ready here today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow. We can arrange somewhere and we will sit together and
In
detail. That's only possible. This is only half an hour rushing up. I know you are not satisfied. I know it. Sorry. Thank you very much for your patient hearing.
The question answer session, we can have it after the lunch break. Because
Yeah.
there's one session Dr. Shailesh Pandon sir is supposed to take and he's not present today. So the question answer session, whatever you want to ask in that interactive session, we can have it just after the lunch.
So 2 to 3.
Between 2 and 3. 2 or 2:30 or as it, we'll take it as the time permits. So now we have got a